Alright students, I want to give you a quick demo about rollover images and how to make them. I'm starting with the images themselves. If you look in my folder, this is my images folder inside my boutique folder, which you should have a similar one. I've got all these images related to pickles, backgrounds, and then I dumped a bunch of images, relatively good sized images with pickles in them. But just to show you that I made 3 rollover images, and what that means, you've got to make a before state, what it looks like when the image is loaded, and then the rollover state, the second phase, what does it look like after it's been rolled over and hovered over. So what I did is I made a pickle small. You can see this image right here, and it's only about 144 pixels tall. That's not pickles. Haha. And you don't want to make yours giant either. It's 72 dpi, like all images should be for the web. And I made 3 of these: a Pickles 1 small, a Pickles 2 small, they're JPEGs, and a Pickles 3 small. And then I made a second one, and I actually just layered a 50% black gradient over it in Photoshop, like this, and then I put text over it. And I said, learn more about us. So it's like 3 layers. It's that background, a black opacity of 50% layer, and then this text that matches my text in my website at Gill Sands. Anyway, I made 3 of those, 3 pairs. Okay, so you've got to make a pair. It's okay to mix PNGs and JPEGs. The PNG has to be a PNG because I've got layers, if that makes sense. I could flatten that now if I wanted to, but I didn't. The layer is fine. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Dreamweaver now that I have those in my index folder, and go to Dreamweaver, open it, and show you how you actually create this from scratch. But you have to start with those images first. So there's my file in a split design view, but look for this div called Article 1. I think that's what I called it. I've got it after my content area. The content is where I have all of this written stuff. The header home is the div up here where we have the background showing and our transparent PNG logo in front of it. But in this new div called Article 1, which I've stylized, and I think I showed you in class and even shared the files with you, I'm going to insert my cursor right here between the open div and the close. Some of you are struggling a little bit when I say close and open divs. But this says div open. See, it says div ID equals Article 1. That's the style, Article 1. And then to close it is the /div, but always between the angle brackets. Insert your cursor here. Go up to Insert. And don't go to Images. This is normally, if we're going to insert an image, we go there. But we're going to go to HTML. And then look for, it's down near the bottom, I think. Come on. Yeah, rollover image. Then we get this window. And disregard this image name. It's going to automatically fulfill its own desire to create a new image name. We don't have to worry about that. But you're going to have 2 images, the original image and then the rollover image. So I'm going to browse. It should be in your images folder if it's going to work. I'm going to say browse. And I'm going to go to my folder, which is Desktop Boutique Images. And I'm looking for Pickles 1 small JPEG for me. For you, it's going to be a different name, obviously, but find that one that you sized for the first state. And there it is, and I'm going to say open, and you can see the URL here. By the way, your URL should say, if it's correct, should say images/pickles, nothing else. Images/name of your file. And the second one is browse, and I had my PNG version, and I can see it over here. Alright, and double click that. So there they are. It's going to preload a bunch of code, so don't get confused by that. Alright, don't do anything else down here about the URL, etc. Just say OK, and we see this pop into place right over here. Now, for your information, using CSS, I put the padding and a border around it. So you shouldn't have that unless you copied my CSS, okay? You can go look at the CSS of the image inside of the Article 1 if you want to, but that's another story. Okay, I want to insert the next one. So my cursor is actually right here. I could do it in design view. I could just put my cursor after. You can't do this in live view, but in design view you can. And I'm in split view design showing, so I insert my cursor here. Now I'm going to go back to wherever this was at. By the way, look at all the code that was added right here. It says div ID equals article 1, and then it added this on mouse out, swap image restore, on mouse over, swap image, blah, blah, blah. All of that extra stuff that I didn't write. I don't know how to write that stuff. It did it for us. But then it says, here's the image. Image source, image is pickles1. No alternative tag, the width, height, and then the image to rollover is going to happen because it's showing it. It's all into this code. So before that close div right there, I'm going to separate this a little bit so I can see them. Okay, I've got that image, and then after that image closes and we see the close of this A, that attribute, I'm going to double space down here and I'm going to insert another. So insert HTML, scroll down here to rollover image. This now says image 4 rollover, that's fine. Say browse, I'm going to find pickles2 small JPEG, and then browse pickles2 small PNG. Okay, and I'll see over here that for me it's put the next one in. I'm going to insert my cursor here, and it's right down here is where it's at in the code. Return again. I just want to separate these so I can troubleshoot them later if I need to. Insert the third one. Insert HTML. Oh, I just screwed up, so let me say undo, edit, undo. Okay. Insert HTML, rollover image, and this time I'm going to do pickles3 small JPEG and pickles3 small PNG. Okay. Good. Now I want to look at these just in design view only, kind of see what's going on here. And you can see these. The rollover doesn't work in, by the way, the padding and the alignment, all that's done in the CSS. I said text align center, so this makes every element inside of this article 1 container align center. And the rollover doesn't work until I go to live view. Let me go to live view and you can see that thing work. Okay, I'm scrolling up, and when I mouse over, now I got a little fade transition thing. I did that in the CSS. You may not. But either way, you should see. This says learn more about us. I'm corresponding to this link here. This says products for you. This is responding to gallery. This is my contact, so I'm kind of corresponding with that. I want to hear from you. Okay, and it goes to the contact page. That's what we're going to do. All right, hopefully that is helpful.